Taoiseach, on January 27th last, you launched your election campaign. You looked people in the eye and you told them that they could trust you, that you would keep your promises. As communities all across this country have been discovering in recent weeks, these promises, especially when they relate to local health services, don't count for very much.
I'm getting a little fed up of you putting words in my mouth. Indicate to me what promises in respect of what hospitals I made that you can stand over.
And we are committed to maintaining the services in Roscommon County Hospital. I don't come down here lightly to say these words. You know down in the accident and emergency what it takes and what needs to be done and what can be done in your own local hospital here, and we will protect and defend that.
Now, having somewhat successfully established my press credentials, and because you and I have at least one thing in common, which is that all of us deal with language all the time, I thought it might be nice today for me to come to you with some of my language complaints. Certainly not to blame them on you, although, of course, you are implicated. And not that you can help it. I mean, the problem is really with the people you cover. The politicians, the celebrities, and the lawyers. And although their level of insincerity is astonishing, it's still kind of fun to hear them talk. In particular, it's fun to listen to Washington talk. Whenever the issue of term limits comes up, I always tell people the only term limits I'm interested in would be to limit some of the terms used by politicians. They speak, of course, with great caution, because they must take care not to actually say anything. Proof of this, according to their own words, is that they don't actually say things, they indicate them. As I indicated yesterday, and as the President indicated to me, but sometimes they don't indicate, they suggest. Let me suggest that, as I indicated yesterday, I haven't determined that yet. See, they don't decide, they determine. If it's a really serious matter, they make a judgment. I haven't made a judgment on that yet. When the hearings are concluded, I will make a judgment, or I might make an assessment. I'm not sure. I haven't determined that yet. But when I do, I will advise you. They don't tell, they advise. I advised him that I had made a judgment. Thus far, he hasn't responded. They don't answer, they respond. He hasn't responded to my initiative. An initiative is an idea that isn't going anywhere. When he responds to my initiative, I will review his response, take a position, and make a recommendation. See, they don't read, they review. They don't have opinions.
Senator Cullinan, a minute and a half.
I think it's absolutely disgraceful, with respect to Lascar Hairlook, that the Sinn Féin party has been given 1.5 minutes to discuss a bill as important as this. I think, Leader, you should hang your head in shame, the Minister should hang his head in shame, and senators in this House who support that should hang their heads in shame. That we are being asked to take a decision on one of the most important bills that has come into this House in our lifetime in this Seanad, and we as a party are being given 1 minute and 30 seconds to state our case. That is an absolute disgrace, and you should all be absolutely ashamed of yourselves.
How long is left?
Minister, you asked a question when you came into this House of Senators. Can any senator give me an example where a company announced that they would be liquidating over a medium time frame? Can you give me an example of bills which have been rammed through the Oireachtas at 4:35 in the morning without proper...
Minister, I wondered if you're living in a different reality from the rest of us, because your failure to truly grasp where ordinary people are at across this state is shocking. And I have met with these people right across the state, in every part of county, villages and streets, and they tell me that they're living from week to week, that they're scraping and they're finding it tough and barely able to get by. They're the mothers who go without dinner to make sure that their children can eat. They're the fathers who stand in the dole queue trying to keep some of their pride and wondering if they'll be able to meet the bills that are coming in. They're the elderly people who gave their lives and who gave their taxes to this state and who are now living in poverty. Their help has been stripped away from them in every sovereign debt. The question that we all know, the question that most people want to know is how this is going to affect them. People are angry that they have been lamped and asked by the previous administration to pay the toxic debts of Anglo-Irish Bank and Irish Nationwide. And what they expected in the mandate that they gave those parties that now form government was to get a deal which meant that they would not have to pay that debt. What you have come to the chamber today, Taoiseach, is you have said to every single man, woman and child in this state that they will pay back every single penny of the toxic Anglo debt. Every single penny will be paid back. You have said that it will happen by this generation of taxpayers and indeed future generations of taxpayers. We're supposed to jump up with joy on the fact that it's a long-term bond, a 40-year bond with average maturities of 34 years. Taoiseach, this week my youngest son began to crawl. He wasn't even born at the time that the promissory note was issued by Micheál Martin and his cabinet colleagues. Yet he'll be 40 years of age, and this state will be paying back the toxic debts of Anglo-Irish Bank. Now, I've listened to you, Taoiseach, and you said that this is a fair deal, that this is about restricting or easing the burden on taxpayers. What about those children who had no hand, act nor part to play, who didn't benefit from the boom at the time? Why do you think it is fair for them to be lamped with this burden? You will know, Taoiseach, that in relation to the promissory note and the construction of the promissory note, that the interest that was paid to the Irish Central Bank, which ended up coming back to this state. What was going to happen if the promissory note ran its course was by 2022 it would have been cancelled out. The central bank would have got €28 billion of capital, and that would be it. But what you have done here, Taoiseach, is not only have you said that through a sovereign bond that the full €28 billion will be paid back, but €1 billion of interest every single year will be paid on top of it. But no longer will it be circular, because there is no doubt about it that the Irish Central Bank will not hold this bond for a 40-year period. So it will be bondholders who will get the interest that is paid by this state. So what does that mean, Taoiseach? It means this. Get rid of all the spin and all of the rest. €28 billion of the promissory note will be paid back in a sovereign bond, and €34 billion of interest will...
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Yeah! Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out. If you have selfish, ignorant citizens, you're going to get selfish, ignorant leaders. And term limits ain't going to do you any good. You're just going to wind up with a brand new bunch of selfish, ignorant Americans. So maybe it's not the politicians who suck. Maybe something else sucks around here. Like the public. Yeah, the public sucks. There's a nice campaign slogan for somebody. The public sucks. Fuck hope. Fuck hope. Because if it's really just the fault of these politicians, then where are all the other bright people of conscience? Where are all the bright, honest, intelligent Americans ready to step in and save the nation and lead the way? We don't have people like that in this country. Everybody's at the mall, scratching his ass, picking his nose, taking his credit card out of his fanny pack and buying a pair of sneakers with lights in them. So I have solved this little political dilemma for myself in a very simple way.
Well, is it dabbling politics? I don't know what that is. You see, stand up and talk for my rights. I know what that is. See? And I don't care who the guy is. Because my right is my right, like my life. You know? All I have is my life. That means if I can say, I don't want that or I don't want this. When I check it out, the biggest man was a baby one time. So I don't know where him get all of these big ideas, want to be rulers over people. You see? And help enforce devilism. Can't dig it. Can't take it. We're rebel, man. We're revolutionaries. You know?
Is that the way you'd see yourself?
Yeah, I see myself as a revolutionary who don't have no help and not take no bribe from no one to fight it single-handed with music. Rasta is the future. See? Yes. Rasta is the future, skid.